Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life According to Nikki. Today, we have a fabulous guest named Jess, all the way from England. I'm so excited. You guys are going to be able to hear the introduction of Jess and all of the different things about them. I love them so much. But if you remember, if you are a OG listener, when I had my podcast episode with Sierra in the episode titled The Truth About Studying Abroad, you heard about my very traumatic but also hilarious circumstances of being atop Interlaken Mountain in Switzerland and my journey or descent down the mountain and how horrible it was. Well, the person that was with me was in fact Jess, who you're hearing from today, and honestly, I can't say enough about them, how much I love them. That moment, being on that mountain, I'm honestly feeling emotional about it because they were so unbelievably kind. They stayed with me the entire time that I was on that mountain. It took me so much longer than everybody else to get down. I felt like my life was in danger. And I couldn't have done it without them. I held onto their shoulder and had support, literally supported the entire 2.5 hours down that mountain. And I cried in their arms when we made it down. And I have a picture of that moment, and just that story has been posted on the Instagram. And it's attached to the other episode. So if you want to know more about that story, if you want to see the background and all of the funny things, that is going to be on the episode, The Truth About Studying Abroad with Sierra. But today, we're actually going to talk about Oxford because Jess works at Oxford. Of course, before we get to our main topic of Oxford, we go over the shows that we have been watching, and I just wanted to warn you all that we do spend like 35 minutes talking about Heartstopper. So, if you're here for that, which I hope you are, that is going to be a huge chunk of the podcast. But if you are just not much of a TV watcher in general and you normally skip past my TV watching section anyways, I just thought I'd let you know, normally I end it around the 20-30 minute mark for the TV watching section, but for this episode, it's going to be around the 45-minute mark. But I do still think it's worth staying around for. We have a really important conversation about mental health, about inclusivity and representation. So I hope you stick around, but I get it. If you're just here for the main topic of Oxford, that does start around minute 45. Now that our housekeeping is out of the way, you have the agenda for today's episode. How about we get started? Yeah? Cue my intro song. Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. Today, we have Jess with us. They go by the pronouns of they, them, so we will be referring to them as such. And if you have a problem with that, then don't listen to this podcast because it's clearly not for you if you have a problem with that. Oh my gosh, it's just such a joy to see you.
It's so good to see you.
I'm so excited about this. My listeners are going to go feral for your accent. I'm telling you that right now.
Have you had anyone English on before?
No, are you kidding me? No,
Has everyone been American? Oh God, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta represent my country.
How many English people do you think I know?
I don't know, like we're kind of everywhere.
Jess, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and tell the story of how we met?
So hi, I'm Jess. As you can tell from my voice, I am British. I met Nikki when we were both studying in Geneva. I think you've talked about this on the pod before, yes?
Yes.
We were living in the same accommodation, weren't we? We were in the same place. But I think we met at an Erasmus Games night. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. I forgot about that.
And it was because you guys were talking about how you'd been watching the Finnish Eurovision selection and were going to watch the Swedish one. And I like immediately, like, spidey senses tingling. I was like, did someone say Eurovision? because I'm like a massive, massive Eurovision fan. And I was like, I need to be friends with these people immediately.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. That's how we met.
Well, yeah, it was so random. And I was like, hey, can I gate crush your Eurovision?
That's right, because Naya and Fani, they were explaining Eurovision to me, the American that knows nothing. The only thing I knew about Eurovision was from the movie Eurovision, which I
Blasphemy.
I know, but I did not know this existed. Loved that movie. I thought it was hysterical. But
Yeah.
then they were like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You need to watch the real thing." So they had never seen the movie, so I showed them the movie, and then we started watching Eurovision,
And then they showed you the real deal.
and then you swooped in. I guarantee you, my American audience does not know about the lore and the history of Eurovision. Give just like a brief overview. Also, why is Australia a part of Eurovision?
Do you want me to like explain what Eurovision
Yes,
is? Is that
yes,
helpful? Okay.
yes.
So Eurovision is a Europe-wide song competition. So every country in Europe, I use the term Europe loosely here, sends like a singer with a song and they compete. So they have a public vote and also like juries of supposedly like experts about music choose which is the best song. And then whoever wins hosts it the next year. And it's been going on since 1956. So it's really old and it's changed a lot. So at the start, you used to have like full orchestra, and now it's not like that at all. Also, at the start, there were like barely any countries, and now there's a lot of countries, including countries that some people might say, wait a minute, is that in Europe? And the answer is always no. Um, Basically, the people who are allowed to participate in Eurovision is based on lines of longitude and latitude, which are like quite big and cover like Europe plus some friends and some maybe frenemies. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. And so a bunch of countries that aren't in Europe are allowed to participate, like North African countries, people who don't know this, could participate in Eurovision if they wanted to. They choose not to, but they could, and they have in the past. Yeah, so there's a bunch of countries in Eurovision who aren't in Europe, like Israel is the obvious one, which obviously is a little bit controversial at the moment, and a lot of people felt like they shouldn't have been there last year. Yeah, that's another podcast episode. And then the other one that's kind of obvious is Australia is in Eurovision. They were invited for the 60th anniversary of Eurovision because Eurovision is like weirdly popular in Australia for some reason. And basically for the 60th anniversary of Eurovision, they were like, just for fun, we'll let Australia in. Why not? Like it's nice, it's fun. And because they love Eurovision so much, we're like, why not? Extend the hand of friendship. But then they like absolutely smashed it. Like this is such a good song and it was so fun. Everyone loved having them. We were like, let them stay. And that's why Australia's in Eurovision. And it's so cool. I love it. But fun fact, if Australia were to win, they haven't ever won yet. But if they did, they would have to choose a different city to host on their behalf because it wouldn't be fair to make everyone in Europe go to Australia. Sorry, Australia. It's kind of fun. And so they would have to like choose somewhere else, which would be so controversial and fun. I hope it happens. It was so juicy because like, can you imagine the diplomatic nightmare of being like, we have to choose a favorite and not piss anyone off?
I love this, and I love how much you know about it because, I mean, if we're talking passionate about some sort of TV show or whatever, like I am so passionate about the TV shows that I know about, and I loved learning about Eurovision from you.
It is my like big nerd thing, and I did a like school project about it once that was like a year-long big piece of proper research. It was like the first time I ever did a research assignment. It was similar to what you do at university, but you did it at school. As a result, that's why I know quite so much as I do. Like passion alone can't take you this far. Some of it was scholarship.
Some of it was real hard time research.
With actual academia, thank you. Yeah.
Also, I did not know, and I know for a freaking fact that I won't be the only person that didn't know this, that Celine Dion
Yes.
won Eurovision.
The last time Switzerland won until this year. Yeah.
Did Switzerland
And
win this last
yeah,
year?
so Switzerland won this year. It was a big moment for me as a person who lived in Switzerland and is non-binary. The non-binary Swiss person winning Eurovision this year was like kind of important for me.
Oh my, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so people are saying like fingers crossed Celine Dion might go to Eurovision this year, like just to perform in the interval or something. But it will be kind of hard to persuade her, I think.
Yeah, with her whole voice thing, and
Exactly. But she did the Olympics, so why
she
can't she
did.
do Eurovision?
Yeah, girl, get on that plane, get on that private
We just
jet.
want her to stand there. Also, like, no one cares if she doesn't sing, just lip sync. It's fine. We'd allow it.
One thing I will say, I mean, I've mentioned this before on the pod, so the people know, but watching Eurovision with people from those countries who were into it,
Amazing.
it was
Such a great
actually,
experience.
it was magical. It really, really was. I loved it. And the energy in the room, and
So
also,
good.
I don't know, like looking at it from an American's point of view, it was fun to do something that I know wouldn't work in America. Does that make sense?
They've tried it. I don't know if you know this, they did an American Song Contest that was like Eurovision but America.
Did it
Sorry.
work? Oh no, I
Kind
can't
of,
imagine.
it was like kind of weird and it like didn't take off in the same way because it was kind of just everyone was like, oh, this is like X Factor, pop stars or whatever, but just not. It like didn't have anything special about it because there already exist like American singing competitions. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it really like took off in that same way. Whereas like with Eurovision, nothing else like that exists. I think it's like the biggest non-sporting international TV event in the world or something like that. It's crazy.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
because
believe
it's
it.
so many countries and like different things. And yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I also think that that's the tough thing about the US. Like a whimsicalness to it, I don't think Americans would get down for.
Yeah, I see. I also think it benefits also from being very international in terms of like there's lots of different languages and cultures and stuff. And I know there are different kind of languages and cultures within the US, but I think it's much harder to exploit than it is in Europe, where people like will bring things that are like really, really traditional and kind of folkloric to their
Yes,
country.
that's what I would imagine. If it was ever to be successful in the US, it would have to be such a competition and it would be so serious. Like it wouldn't be able to be that
Do you know what?
fun.
That's it. I think also, yeah, Americans take competitions very seriously. Whereas like
Oh yeah.
Eurovision is like, yeah, we want to win, but we're here for fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's really that invested in winning. People just kind of don't want to lose and want to have a good time, raise their profile a bit, make some friends, go home.
Yeah, no, we take it way too seriously. You give us a
Exactly.
competition of like we're gonna be the best, and to have a song that's known everywhere. Oh yeah, no, that'd be way too much. We take the fun
Yeah.
out of it.
It's like what's the comparison everyone does between like it's some American show and then like British Bake Off, and everyone's like, you could never have the Great British Bake Off in the US because like everyone's
Oh,
just so like, soft and nice and like,
oh
oh
yeah, and
no, my scones.
my brother, he was like, "There's no prize for the winner."
They get a cake stand. They get a really nice glass cake stand and the
America could
pride of
never.
knowing they won.
Nope, no,
Yeah.
not enough. No, I want cash that's taxed to the umpth degree. That's America.
Yeah,
Now that we've discussed Eurovision, we're already in the what have you
we
watched
are. Yeah.
section. Jess, it is time to talk about Heartstopper. Explain to the people what Heartstopper is and why you love it.
Okay, Heartstopper is this TV show. It's on Netflix, based on a web comic of the same name by Alice Oseman, who is the best thing that's ever happened to the world. That's an exaggeration, but a very cool author called Alice Oseman. It's about these two boys who they meet in secondary school. They are like 15 or something at the start. So yeah, it's about these two boys and like they like each other. And then it's about what happens afterwards, I guess. But it's about their relationship, but also their friends, more broadly, their kind of group of friends. It's a very queer show, quite family friendly. It's
Mhm.
rated a 12 in the UK. First season is very light, very chill, nothing super extremely bad happens, and it's very like fluffy and happy, and all that's great. As it goes on, it gets a little bit more mature as they kind of grow up a bit and it explores a few more of like the problems they might be facing and stuff like that. I think it's a fantastic show. I think it deals very sensitively with some really important issues that should be on the TV and makes it accessible to a relatively young audience, which I think is so important because I find shows about teens that aren't watchable by teens weird. You know, when it's like, oh, this show's about
Yeah,
teens, but it's an 18, and you're like, why is the show for an older audience than the people it's portraying? I find that weird.
that
Whereas
is,
this doesn't do that at
yeah,
all.
that was so well said. I do want to get into some spoilers. So, everybody,
Yes.
buckle in because we have things to say about season 3 specifically. So, if you have not watched it and you want to watch it, how about you just skip this section? But if you're like, I like a spoiler, which I do. I enjoy
Do
listening.
you?
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's interesting.
I will listen to an entire podcast about a show, like people deep diving into it, the background of it. I will know everything that's going to happen. And I don't know, sometimes I find it really enjoyable to go and watch it
That's
afterwards,
so interesting. What, because you're
knowing,
like more interested in the background than in the like plot?
yes, I also like
Oh
the peace
man.
of knowing that it's going to work out and that I no surprises. I don't really love a surprise.
Really, I think I
Mhm.
enjoy, in a kind of awful way, enjoy the suspense. Like I'm hating it as it's happening, but I want to experience the like build up and then.
Oh, yeah,
But
no.
I say that like obviously with Heartstopper, I've read the entire comic, so there were no spoilers. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen the entire time. Like the whole way through, I was like, well, we all know where this is going.
Some of the issues that are brought up are mental health is a huge one because Charlie, he has an eating disorder. He is anorexic.
It also has OCD.
Oh, I forgot about OCD. Actually,
Yeah,
my very
I
last
listened to it. It
episode.
was really good. Yeah,
Isn't that great? Yeah, shout out to
yeah,
Emily.
we loved it.
Okay, so he has OCD, anorexia, and then in the first season, Nick, in the beginning, like the first season, he kind of has his journey of like, am I bi? I think I am, which is like really sweet. And you see him Googling and stuff. So you kind of
That
have
I
his
loved. I
journey.
like need non-queer people to understand how much that is a seminal moment. And like that was such a thing. Like every queer person I know is like, I did the Google. I also did the Google. Like every single queer person I know was like the only unrealistic thing about that scene was him not being able to incognito browser. We're like, you would not want that. He's at home.
Oh,
But even so, I was like, you would go on incognito. You would. Come on. Come on. This happens like multiple times throughout. He's never on incognito. I'm like, someone needs to help this lad out. He does not know what an incognito window is. And I just think it's holding him back.
okay, so we have that. And then in season two, what's like the big main core of season two? Is it?
Season two is kind of a lull, I would say. It's kind of they go to Paris and
Oh, that's right.
I guess it's kind of Charlie starting to get worse, isn't it? Like in terms of
Hmm.
his mental health. Yeah, I felt like season two I enjoyed at the time, but now I've seen season three. I feel like a lot of season two was just set up for season three because
Hmm.
you saw a lot of stuff brewing with Isaac and like, oh, he's starting to have a realization of his own.
Talk about Isaac really quick because that I really loved. And I remember messaging you after that whole thing came out because I was like, oh, this reminds me of Jess.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
I messaged you and you loved it. You loved how
Hmm.
it was represented. You felt like it was very accurate.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Isaac is aromantic and asexual. I also happen to be aromantic and asexual. And this is an identity that is really, really poorly represented on screen. Like, there are very, very few shows that deal with it. Those that do, don't do amazingly necessarily. That was like a bit of a scandal with sex education, in case anyone missed that. Something that isn't talked about very much. And when it is, it tends to also be that people who are only asexual and not aromantic, which is a kind of issue within the community that there's an inequality there between people who are just asexual and not aromantic, and then people who are aromantic and may or may not be asexual. Different experience there.
I genuinely don't know really the difference because aromantic to me is like non-romantic, I guess is what I
Mm-hmm.
would infer as like.
Mm-hmm.
And from watching the show, I know a little bit more. Thanks to Isaac.
Excellent.
What's the difference between those two, and how do they either like go together, or how can you be one without the other?
That's a great question. And so many people don't kind of know about this because it's mostly only talked about within the asexual and aromantic community. So basically, we are all taught to believe that like romantic attraction and sexual attraction have to go together, that you have to experience both at the same time. And that's how like traditional monogamous relationships work, right? As you have someone who you have sex with who is also the person you're romantically involved with, right? They have to be the same person and they're always, it's always one person and it's both at the same time.
Mm.
But that actually doesn't describe a lot of people's experiences. And this is most apparent in people who are aromantic and asexual. So being romantically attracted to someone and being sexually attracted to someone are different things. So you can be interested in having a relationship with someone romantically, but you don't want to have sex with them. That's quite common in people who are asexual, but they're not aromantic. But you can also want to have sex with someone and not be interested in them romantically. And that would be someone who is aromantic, but not asexual. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And we call this the split attraction model. which is a model of understanding attraction to people as being split into loads of different kinds of attraction. So not just sexual and romantic, but also like platonic and all kinds of other, there are loads of kinds of attraction. I would definitely recommend looking this up because it's so interesting.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I need like a chart, like a quadrant. You
We
know
can
what I
find a
mean?
chart.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's one made.
Hmm.
Okay, love, thank you very much for educating. So Isaac in the show is both aromantic and asexual, as are
Yeah,
you.
correct.
And how he finds that out, he reads a book, right?
Oh my God, this book. The realization is, I think it's very subtle. And something that is also worth noting is Alice Oseman, who writes the comic and also the show, is also aromantic and asexual and is kind of an icon. Like, there aren't that many famous people who are. So Alice is kind of very important to the community. And I think it really comes through in the show that it is written by someone who has that experience. Because a lot of aromantic and asexual are often shortened to like arrow and ace,
Okay.
just as a heads up. So yeah, a lot of ace rap is written by allo people. That's to say people who are not asexual. And then they like consult with somebody who is. And it's always like, you can always tell there's just little problems where they've kind of gone, oh, we'll use your experience some of the time, but sometimes we'll just ignore you. Whereas this, you could tell it was like embedded throughout the show and stuff. Like there were such subtle references where I don't think someone who wasn't asexual or aromantic would notice this, but I noticed. Like the books that Isaac is reading all the way through, you're like, interesting choice, because it will be like a classic ace book. Or like in the second season, there's this one song in the background, and I was like, oh, that's the song that all the aromantic people love. Like
Really?
it's on like everyone's aromantic songs playlist, and I was like, oh, look at that. Actually, quite a lot of the time he's wearing the colors of the aromantic asexual pride flag, and I'm like, look at that. That's definitely not a coincidence. And you
Look,
probably didn't see
that.
any of this,
None
but
of it.
I did, and that's what's really cool is that it's written for us because nothing ever
Mm.
is, and so it's like so cool to see that being done. Like it's so unusual. And then,
Yeah.
like you say, there's a book he reads at the end of the second series, which is Ace by Angela Chen. Read this book, everybody. It's a fantastic book. It's so good. And it's all kind of about asexuality and how the asexual lens can like help us to understand society better.
Mm.
And it's just like I read it when I was coming out and it was amazing. Like I don't want to exaggerate, but it really was life-changing. I was like, oh, I'm not insane. This is real. And it talks so much about how society's norms around sex have like
Mm.
permeated in a way that makes life difficult for asexual people in invisible ways that other people can't understand. And it was just amazing to read. Like it's so important. And I feel like it has been for so many people that moment of going, oh yeah, that's me. And so it was so cool seeing him like picking this book up after he's been struggling the whole season. Like you watch him watching other couples and being like, I don't get it, I don't get it. And again, it's very subtle, but like there are so many moments when he's like looking at couples and I'm like, oh, that was me at that age. And I love it. I think it's really well done. And I love that then after that, so into season 3, we see this dramatic confidence change, which I would say is a very appropriate response to having read Angela Chen's Ace because it's so empowering. Like it's one of the ones where you read it and you're like, oh, I have rights and I deserve to be treated well. And you see that certainly in season 3 when he's just like,
Yeah.
you can Google it. Like, you
Ugh,
guys need to be better.
iconic when he said that
Incredible.
line.
That was literally one of my favorite moments because I feel like because aromanticism and asexuality are so little understood in society, we spend so much time explaining stuff to people. And that's fine. Like when you're in the mood for it, when you're with like a very receptive audience, it's
Yeah.
great. Like it's really nice. And particularly if you've spent a long time working this out about yourself, you like know a lot about it and you want to share that. And that's cool. But also like it shouldn't be our job to be
Mm.
educating everyone all of the time. And it's kind of this running joke that like, oh, you come out and you have to give the TED talk. But it's like,
Yeah.
actually, it shouldn't be that way if you don't want to. You know, if you don't want to have to explain it, people should go and educate themselves, you know? And I
Right.
really liked seeing someone who went, no, you can come to me. It's not my job to make my experience easier for you to understand. It's your job to take a step forward.
Snaps to that. And I also feel like if you're a friend, if you genuinely are a person that wants to understand, then that kind of answer is probably what's best too, right? Is
Yeah.
it's like, okay, come to me with more specific questions then. Show me that you have put in some effort. I can just imagine like if that was me, if that was my experience, I would really appreciate if people have made an effort and if they come with like clarifying questions. But it's like, I care about you, so I care about the things that you care about. Like, if this is a part of you, I want to know that part of you because it matters, you know?
Exactly, bang on with that. And I also feel like that was well done in the show with other things as well. I think there was a general, what I would call culture of Googling, where they kind of, whenever something came up, they would be looking up what was going on with their friend. And I liked that a lot because I
Yeah.
think that that is a really good way of kind of portraying that you're not expected to know everything already. Like, I think there's a big kind of, I don't know, anti-woke tide of people being like, oh, I can't possibly understand everyone's experiences. Why are you expecting so much of me? And it's actually like no one expects you to know anything. What you're expected to do is take a step, like make an effort
Mm.
and look it up when it comes up rather than immediately going, well, I don't know anything about that, so it can't be real. And I felt like that was really well done in general in the show, was the way that they kind of went, yeah, okay, you're not going to know everything, but a good friend looks it up, and that's enough.
Oh, a good friend looks it up. That line, I love that. Yes. Okay, now we need to talk about season three because season three I cried in, oh gosh, a lot of the episodes, and I
Yeah, I
was
think I was like dehydrated after watching from how much I cried. I was like, oh God.
no, I cried.
Mm,
I was sobbing watching
yeah.
season three. So season three, just to give a brief summary, you have Charlie and Nick. They are boyfriends. They're just establishing the relationship. It's very cute and they're maturing in their relationship. But as was mentioned in season two, you kind of see Charlie kind of going down this slope of, okay, just because he has a boyfriend doesn't mean that that fixes this problem, which I really, really appreciated. That you can have some amazing people in your life, you can have things that make you genuinely happy and that you love, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden, like everything that's going on in your life and your mental health and stuff is like cured. You see in season three, especially the first, what is it, like two episodes, Charlie is really struggling with his eating disorder. Nick is aware of it, and he seeks help because he wants to help. So he talks to his aunt, who is a therapist, which, again, we're going to talk about that because I loved that. And he kind of says, like, how can I help? I want to help him. And to me, one of the most iconic lines and one of my favorites was from the aunt who says, Charlie needs help from someone who isn't 16 years old. You can help, you can support, here are the things you can do, but this problem is bigger than something that can be solved by, a 16-year-old boyfriend. Thoughts on that? We'll pause there.
I agree so much. I think it's so important. I think with mental health, and I also want to point out, we would never do this with any other illness. There is no illness where we would say, like, oh, well, if you just have like nice enough family, you'll be fine. But somehow we do it with mental illness, and it's not good enough. Because yeah, like it's all well and good to like really, really care. You're not a professional. And it's so crucial that we like almost re-medicalize mental illness, because I think there's this tendency to be like, oh, well, it's just a sort of social thing. It's not really like a proper illness. But no, it is. Like, again, if your boyfriend broke his leg, you wouldn't be like, oh, how am I going to set the bone? Because you would know, he needs a real doctor. And I think the same thing goes for mental health, where it's like you have to actually get proper professional help. You can't just have people you love around you, as much as that would be great. And I think so many TV shows show teenagers taking on an appropriate amount of responsibility, which I think is a really teenage instinct to have. I think we all did it as teenagers. We were like, I'm going to fix everything, even though I don't think I know how.
Yes.
But like, actually, that's not how that works. And I liked that they said, you can be a good friend, you can be a good boyfriend, but at the end of the day, they need real help. And I also like the other line from that was, love can't cure a mental illness.
Mm.
And again, I thought that was so important, because so much trail of mental illness will be like, yeah, they were like really struggling, but through the power of love, they got better or whatever, because, like, oh, they fell in love and now they're better or whatever. And that's like really problematic. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say this as an aromantic person, but because not everyone will fall in love. So if you think that's the solution, you're excluding some people from the solution. But also because it's not realistic. Like, love actually can't cure a mental illness. And I think people don't realize, but like, when you say, like, oh, this person was cured through the power of how much people around them loved them, what you're kind of indirectly insinuating is people who don't get better, it's because the people around them didn't love them enough. And that's really messed up, man. Like, that is not the thing you want to be saying to people who have lost someone. And so I feel like that's like an important thing to me.
Yes. Oh, everything you said. Nick talks to his aunt, and she says that he writes down a few things that he can do, and he starts applying those things. But ultimately, the biggest thing that he did was he helped Charlie talk to his parents. And that's where I sobbed.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. That scene where he goes to his parents, I needed a break after I watched
Yeah.
that because it was so real. It was so beautifully done. And then he goes into treatment. So I want you to kind of speak to that and tell me your thoughts and just whatever you want to say on it.
Sure. I mean, I also, the bit where he went to his parents, like that really hit me so hard. And I liked also small detail that they had him like writing it down and reading it to them. Because I was like, that's such a nice little practical thing to put in, because that's actually good advice. Like, some people really struggle with that, and that is a thing they can do.
Yeah.
But I think the bit that like absolutely hit me so hard was, do you know the bit where he's telling his parents, and then it's the end of the episode and it like pans away to Tori sat on the stairs? I was like, oh God. I
Because
was like
Tori,
being punched in the stomach.
for background, Tori is Charlie's sister. Tori is one of my favorite characters in the entire show. And I felt like, again, you can speak more to this, but I felt like the depiction of Tori seeing her siblings struggle, seeing him going through such a hard time, and she loves him so much, and she's aware. She is clearly aware of things going on, but she's also aware that there's not much she can do except be there for him. So to see that moment of him finally telling her parents, and then it pans to her crying on the stairs. I mean, because this experience that Charlie's having isn't just affecting Charlie, it's also in a very, very real way affecting Tori. So I thought that was beautiful.
100%. And I think for context, so I had a sister who was very seriously mentally ill when I was kind of that age as well. And so obviously, like, I really relate to Tori in such a deep way. And I felt like it was really well dealt with, because siblings are so often overlooked when it comes to support, especially with like mental health. I remember looking for resources, and there was kind of two categories of people who deserve to be supported. And it's like parents and carers, or it's like friends and extended family. Those are the only two categories of people who really get considered. And I feel like siblings are in such a weird place between that, where it's like you don't have direct caring responsibilities. You're not just like a mate. You're not just someone who doesn't live with them. You're there 24/7 experiencing that. And it does have a massive effect on you, but kind of nobody knows what to do with you. And it's really difficult. And I think witnessing that can be so hard. And especially when you feel like you can't do anything. And I really liked the way they shone a light on that and said, like, she really struggles, but it's never in a way that where we're kind of blaming Charlie, even though at times like it is really hard. Like, the bit at Christmas when he leaves and she's like, can't you spend Christmas with me? That hit me so hard, because I think it's so hard as a sibling when you are like giving absolutely everything to support your sibling, and then they go and choose someone else over you. You're like, excuse me?
Yes. Oh, I felt so bad for Tori when he left. And I was so happy that Tori went to be with him. And like,
Yes.
beautiful. Anything with Tori and Charlie, I thought was just
Yeah.
so sweet and well done. Obviously the focus is on Charlie, but yeah, that moment, like he really hurt Tori
Yeah.
in that moment. Like that was hurtful.
And I think they do a good job of being like, that kind of hurt will happen. And
Mm,
that's unfortunate. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's not a bad reflection on Charlie.
yeah.
It's just a thing that happened. They don't put blame on Charlie or be like, oh, because Tori's getting hurt, Charlie should have kept it to himself or something. Like, that's never even vaguely insinuated. But it's just kind of a reflection of, this is just how it is. And it's hard and it's difficult. And I think I found it really helpful to see that. And I wish I'd had that when I was going through it, because I felt like it was such a good way of opening that conversation, because I didn't talk about this stuff when it was happening to me. But now it's really like surreal to me to see people going like, hey, Tori deserves better. And I'm like, oh, maybe I deserve better. And that kind of thing where you're like, oh, okay, right. It really makes you reframe, and in a really good way, though.
I think that that's what this show, it's very educational. It makes
Definitely.
you, for someone that hasn't gone through that, like I learned a lot. Then people who have, I feel like can see themselves reflected in a very real way.
But in a
And
positive way, also,
yes,
in a kind of non-shameful, this is a part of life, and it doesn't make your life kind of ugly or unspeakable. It's just a
mm,
part of life. And I think that is so important.
oh yes. Okay, talk about the treatment center that Charlie goes to and your thoughts on that, because you did have thoughts. We talked about it.
Oh, I had thoughts. Yeah, so I felt like this was very delicately handled. I guess a lot of your listeners won't really know much about this. Basically, there are a lot of problems in mental health hospitals in the UK. I mean, there are problems in mental health hospitals kind of everywhere, but I can only speak for the UK. Basically, there aren't enough beds. There are really, really not enough spaces for people to be able to go to hospital when they need to, which means that the waiting lists are super long. And when people do get into hospital, they tend to be really, really ill, like
Mm,
in a very desperate situation. There's also a problem with like staffing in hospitals, which isn't good enough. And also hospitals aren't really held to a high enough standard. So there's like a lot of abuse as well. Basically, people are having a bad time in hospital a lot. And so it's really difficult to portray hospital on TV because you don't want to confirm stereotypes of mental illness, but also it is kind of bad. And so it's really hard to walk a line between saying like hospitals should be and could be therapeutic places. But then if you portray it in a really positive light, it can feel really, really difficult for people who've experienced that system in a bad way because you're basically like brushing away their experience and saying, oh, well, actually, everything's fine. It's all great. And then people who've had like a horrible time in hospital will be like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, it's not fine at
mm,
all.
yeah.
Um, so you see how it's a really difficult line to walk. And I think they did a very good job in Heartstopper. So one of the things you see is that they pay to go private. So I think it made sense in the context of the show to say that because otherwise it just gets into like anything they would have said would have been a political comment about the NHS.
Mm,
It's not that kind of show. I think they also did a good job of saying there's a bit where it's addressed in the show, and Charlie says, like, I had a good experience of hospital because I was lucky and went to one of the good ones, but some people don't. And I think his exact phrase is something like, some people get treated like shit, but I
mhm.
didn't get treated like shit. And I was like, it's so important to me to hear that being said because some people really do get treated like shit. And you cannot talk about mental health and not talk about that because that is a huge part of what's happening. But I felt like it was really good and in keeping with the genre of Heartstopper to show it in a positive light and to show Charlie getting better because we need something to aspire towards. And I think Heartstopper has always been intended as a kind of aspirational reality. It's not 100% realistic. It's like what the world would be like if we were all just a little bit better. But they also acknowledge that that isn't entirely where we're at yet.
Yes. Oh, I loved what you said about it's a place to aspire to. Because really, even just the inclusivity of the entire show, I think
Absolutely.
is for anybody that has not seen this show, almost every single person on that show is going to be queer in some way. Like, it's not your, oh, you have your token, like, gay person or your token, whatever, and then everybody else is straight. And, like, that is not what this show is. That is quite literally not the point of the show.
No.
It is the opposite of that. You're going to have an occasional straight person that you're later going to find out is not straight.
Were you referring to anyone in particular there?
Yes. Everybody in this show is representative of this community that is not usually represented.
Mm.
Like it is
I also feel like
represented.
it's a little bit accurate in the way that like where people do tend to flock together.
Oh yeah, okay. And I will say they also had disability representation, which really
Yeah.
matters to me. Loved that. Love to see it.
Fun fact is that part of the reason why Heartstopper is so diverse is because Alice Oseman's original novel, Solitaire, which is this is a spin-off from that novel. It's like it's gone through so many iterations now. But basically, Alice Oseman's original novel, Solitaire, was criticized for not being very diverse, which is not that surprising because Alice Oseman wrote that when like at school.
Mm,
So obviously like it's not the most diverse book. And basically there was like a lot of criticism of that. And people were like, you need to have more people of colour, you need to have more people from different backgrounds, etc., etc. And Alice Oseman, being an absolute legend, went, okay, yeah, you're right, I'll do better. which is the correct way to respond to criticism. And it was really cool. So that's why it's kind of like that in such a strong way.
Oh, can you imagine if we all just said, yeah, you're right, I'll do better, and then actually did better?
Exactly, right?
The world that we would live in.
It's so good.
That would be so great. Okay, any last thoughts? So just as a, again, because this is all spoilers, Charlie goes to treatment. He is able to get some coping mechanisms. I do not want to say that like, oh, he was like fixed, he was cured.
And
No.
that's what's so good as well, is that there's
Mhm.
still kind of an upwards journey after that, because people sort of expect people to come out of hospital fixed. The reality is people come out of hospital like just about fine. Like it's
Yes.
it's not a magic bullet, and there are no magic bullets in general.
Mhm.
Like all mental health treatment is slow and non-linear and difficult, which is not to say that it's not worthwhile. Like it absolutely is,
Yeah.
but just that it isn't going to be like waking up one day and being like, oh, amazing, I'm better now.
Right. Instead, I feel like it really showed that he learned some coping mechanisms. His family was a little bit more educated. The friends are supportive. I thought it was beautiful. And then in the end, I'm really excited for season 4. We're not gonna get one.
No, we don't know. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
I need to know if they're gonna separate for college or not. Okay, that's the big plot point of I'm sure what season 4 will be because they set it
I'm
up
not going to tell you.
beautifully. Oh yeah, because you read the books.
I know, yeah.
I see. I need to go buy the books. That's what I really need to do.
You can read it online. The whole thing is online. If you go on Tapas, you can read the entire comic.
Oh, I'm 100% doing that, and I will.
Oh, I'll
I'll
send it to you
text you.
later.
Will
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Please do. Okay, I will 100% read that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really long. Please, public health announcement, don't read it all in one setting. I did that. I don't know why I did that to myself. I was broken after.
I couldn't watch even season 3 all in one sitting because it was
It
just a
really wasn't a
little too
binge watch,
much.
was it?
No,
Mm.
you need a
But I liked
moment.
that. I liked that it made you pause and think. Like I think that was a sign of it being good TV, that it had such a strong impact. But I also worry that that's going to have affected its viewing figures on
Mm.
Netflix and reduce its chances of getting a season 4.
I hope it gets a season 4.
Fingers crossed. It's a
Fingers
flagship
crossed.
show.
Yeah, everybody go watch Heartstopper. What is your personal
Yes,
rating out of 10? 1 being like terrible, 10 being this is the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Everyone needs to watch it.
11.
Okay, we love. You heard it here first, folks. Jess gives it an 11 out of 10. I am extremely harsh on my ratings. Overall, so I do 2 rating systems. I have my personal.
Yeah.
My personal Heartstopper, I would give it an 8.5.
Hmm.
I have enjoyed every season. It is so heartwarming. It's so cute. I learn a lot. I love almost the innocence in season 1, where yeah, it's just so family
Definitely.
friendly and just
Yeah.
adorable. And I love Nick and Charlie. I think they're so cute. And then my public rating, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5. 7 is
Yeah.
like a repeat for anybody. I think because it's not everyone's genre, it's also not something everybody would love. Most people would like it. So 7.5 for the public.
I will agree with you. I will say, like, please understand that my rating is based off of the fact that 90% of Heartstopper is representing aspects of my identity that I've never seen on TV before. So, like,
Oh
if you
yeah.
don't have my specific life experience and also gender and sexuality, like, you maybe won't find it quite as transformative as I have. And that's fine. I understand that. I know that I'm the target audience. Like, if they were naming one person as their target audience, it would be me, because I found it really funny that I watched season 3 and it had this really profound impact on me. And then I had to go and talk to people about it who like hadn't really had such a big reaction to it. That's okay. Like it really is not something that other people have experience with and stuff like that. So it's fine. And I know some people don't like that it's so light. I think a lot of people talked about how it doesn't feel true to their experiences because it's not as dark, and particularly in terms of mental health. A
Mhm.
lot of people said they felt like the depiction of mental health felt too kind of, I think the word was sanitized. I don't agree. But some people definitely felt like it didn't really plumb the depths of how bad things can be. And so, yeah, if you're looking for realism, if you're looking for like something gritty and challenging, you're not going to find it in Heartstopper because that's not the genre it belongs to. And so, for that reason, I do get why people won't love it as much as I do.
Yes, but hey, I love when something just hits you so hard and you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
I literally don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, this is my favorite thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And last thing I'm going to say to your point that you just made, I personally, that's what I enjoy about it. I enjoy that it is lighter so that we can see it, that we're not just watching another thing where I'm like, okay, well, now I'm depressed. I need some hope. But maybe that's just because I'm a glass half full kind of person. That's how I look at the world. So I agree that this is a series of what the world can aspire to. Okay, and that I think will complete our What Have You Been Watching segment. All right, Jess, it is now time to move on to our main topic, which is talking. I almost just did a British accent. Did you hear that?
I did slightly, and I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, I was gonna say something. I was like, I was that myself right there. It is so difficult to not imitate an English accent as an American because we
It's
do it.
fine. I have the same thing with American accents because we hear so much of it, like on TV
Mhm.
and stuff.
It was trying to come out, and I'm gonna push that back down. We're gonna talk about Oxford.
Oxford, the city of
So
Oxford.
yes, we're gonna talk about Oxford.
You sound like all of the tourists that I have to stand behind on the pavement when I'm trying to get somewhere.
Everybody, Jess works at Oxford. Okay. How freaking cool is this? I have the coolest friends. I remember us talking about it when we were in Switzerland, and I was like, okay, Jess, what do you want to do with your life? What's the dream? I love asking people what their dreams are. And you said, I want to work at Oxford Library. And here you are. So I have some basic questions. First off, I need to understand, like, what is Oxford? It feels like a prestigious school.
Okay, I'm gonna like pull up some notes here because I made some notes for the benefit of being able to explain this better and with real facts because I can recognize that this is not a thing that everyone knows about, and also I don't have the like full facts. So I've got some notes here. Okay, to clarify like what my job is. So I am a graduate trainee in one of the college libraries. We'll explain what a college is in a minute. It means I have like a 1 year contract where my job is like to help with loads of different things involved in like the day to day of the library. But I also get some training once a week. So where I learn more about like, how to become a real proper librarian in the future. And there are trainees in lots of the libraries in Oxford, and we all come together for our training sessions. So there's loads of people who are like exactly like me, giant nerds in a good way. Just to give you an idea of like where I sit within the university.
Yes.
Do you want to have a guess at how many libraries there are in the University of Oxford?
5?
91. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah. So that gives you like a bit of a sense of what we're dealing with.
Okay, I need
Yeah,
more.
I didn't know this before I started. I was like, how many? Yeah, okay. So if you don't know the University of Oxford, it is one of the older universities in the world. I think there's dispute about which one is the oldest. I think it's Bologna. So the earliest evidence we have of teaching in Oxford is from 1096. It's very, very historic. It's very prestigious. I guess the American equivalent would be like Harvard, I think. But it's
Okay.
obviously not the same because obviously like Oxford is older than the entire country of America. Oxford and Cambridge are kind of like the two super, super prestigious universities in the UK, although actually some other universities are like becoming equally prestigious just because they've like done well at doing different stuff. But basically, Oxford and Cambridge, which are known together sometimes as Oxbridge, this sometimes confuses people when they think that Oxbridge is a place. It's not. Oxbridge is just a term to refer to Oxford and Cambridge together.
Oh, okay.
Very difficult to get into and very, very extremely wealthy. A lot of resources. The thing you have to understand about Oxford is it's what's called a collegiate university. Now, this is going to be confusing because I know that in the US, colleges are universities. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the UK, a college, like the word college means loads of different things. So it can kind of be like any educational establishment. Like some secondary schools can even be called a college, which is a little bit confusing. But basically, the university is made up of 43 colleges, and your college is like the part of the university that you go to as a student. So it's where you would live. It's where you would have like a lot of your facilities would be there. You would have tutorials there. your kind of main community is in your college, but your degree is awarded by the university itself,
Got
which is
you.
like a central body. So if you imagine the university as like a central body and the colleges are like little spokes coming out
Yes.
on a big wheel.
So,
Yes.
so if you're studying like science, I don't know, like biology, you would be doing
Mhm.
something in some sort of biology college.
No, this is a really confusing system. So don't like feel bad if you're confused by it. If you're
Okay.
confused by it, you're accurately understanding it as a system. So you can do most subjects at most colleges. So if you're studying biology, you could go to like any of the main colleges, and then you would have a biology faculty where you'd have some of your teaching, but you would also spend a lot of time in your college.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really confusing.
So if you're going to Oxford,
Mhm.
then you have to choose which college you're going to be a part of.
Yes, but sometimes you don't get the college you want, you get assigned to a different college, or sometimes, if you're really lucky, a college sees your application and makes you a special offer. So they'll be like, I know that you want to go to Lincoln College, but we here at Magdalen think that you're really great and we want to give you a scholarship. Why don't you come to us? Kind of thing.
Is the college a building?
Yeah, well, it's like a little tiny campus.
Oh,
So Oxford University doesn't have like one campus, they just have loads of buildings in most of the city.
okay. So
Yeah.
what is Oxford? Is Oxford just one building?
It's so confusing. I really understand why you're so confused because I'm like, this is how I felt when I arrived. I was like, wait, what? So yeah, so Oxford is like the whole city is full of different buildings that belong to the university. So they'll have like department buildings, and then there'll be colleges, and then there'll be other things like libraries just dotted around the entire city.
Okay, okay. So I'm trying to like paint a picture in my head of how this is. So Oxford is like the parent, and then there's all these like families, like would be the colleges. And so it's like, okay, you
Yeah.
can go live with this family and learn from this family, but ultimately, like they're owned by the parent and they're teaching what the parent wants. Like it's approved by the parent.
Yes. Yes. That's an amazing way of explaining it. That's so much better than anything I had. That's so good. Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is making sense. So you're going to have a different experience at Oxford, like said with air quotes,
Yeah.
depending on which family with you live with and
Yes. This is so, yes. Yes. Bang
and
on.
how they teach their family principles.
Yes. So they have like very different vibes at different colleges, and also very different like architecture and look and stuff. So like the college that I work at is very historic. It was founded in, I want to say, 1379. So it's really old, and everything's quite historic. I would say typically Oxford, like when you imagine, an Oxford college with the kind of lawn in the middle and the buildings around the outside, all made of Cotswold stone and all very Gothic architecture and whatever, that sort of vibe. But some of the colleges are not like that at all. Like I visited a college last week that was kind of built in the 60s. And so it's all like brutalist glass and concrete and very, very modern looking by comparison.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've been freaking bamboozled, hoodwinked this whole time when someone's like, "Oh, I went to Oxford." Okay, you went to Oxford is like where you got your degree from, but it's really what college you went to.
Yeah, and if someone said to you, I went to Oxford, they were probably being like trying to cater to you as a non-Oxford person by like trying to help you out by saying I went to Oxford. Because most people, if they were asked really where they went, they will say their college. They'll be like, oh, I went to Teddy Hall or I went to Wolfson or whatever, because that's where they feel their allegiance. And so one person told me, and this is perhaps interesting to people who might have been tourists, but one person said to me, when they see someone wearing a University of Oxford hoodie, they imagine they probably didn't go to the University of Oxford. Because if you really went to the university, you'd be wearing your college hoodie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it tends to be like tourists who wear all the university merch. It's not strictly true. Some students like to get into the spirit of it and stuff, but
But wow,
it's an interesting observation.
absolutely. Oh, I bet you can just like pick out, oh, they're probably American. They
Not
don't know.
necessarily American.
Oh, I'm hey, listen, speaking for all Americans, I would think in my head if I'm wearing a sweatshirt that said like, what some college thing, no one in America is gonna care. But if I have like
Yeah,
an Oxford, it's like, oh, you went to England? Like,
I love that.
yeah, because you want the clout in America. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Wow. Okay. That is so fascinating. So it's the same process to get you're applying to Oxford,
Yeah,
then you're accepted into Oxford. Then
yeah.
you have to choose which college you're going to go to and attend.
Yeah, I think the college thing is sort of at the same time as being accepted. So I think it's almost like you sort of get passed around all the colleges and they can decide if they're interested, sort of, I think.
Oh,
So I think you express a preference and you get sent to that, but then you can get poached by other colleges somehow. I don't fully understand the system myself. Obviously, please bear in mind, I don't go to the University of Oxford. I've never been a student at the University of Oxford. I only work as a staff member. So I don't see a lot of that side of things.
right.
So I don't fully understand it.
Okay, everyone, just real quick, fun fact about Jess. Jess majored in both, correct me if I'm wrong, Spanish and French.
Yeah, I did French and Spanish for my BA. Yeah.
Um, and went and did a semester in Spain and directly after did the semester in Switzerland. So spoke fluent Spanish in Spain and then immediately switched fluent French.
I'm going to say I'm not fluent in Spanish or French, but I speak them passably.
Enough to get a degree and live in
Yeah.
those countries.
Yeah.
Hey, as someone who went out and about with you, I always felt confident in your French.
I mean, I can't believe, I think it's so brave though to go not speaking the language because I get really anxious traveling to a place if I don't speak the language now because I expect myself to. So like whenever we went to like the German speaking part of Switzerland, I'm like, oh God, what am I going to do?
Me and my American arrogance, like,
Whereas
it'll
you were
be
just like,
fine.
I can do this, it'll be fine. I
It's
love that. I was
probably
like, yeah, this is the energy I need.
in some ways I think it's good, but in other ways, yeah, no, I think it really just comes down to like an American arrogance. I'm just like, can't everyone speak English? Like,
I mean, everyone could though, so you were kind of right.
yeah, but also I shouldn't just go in assuming. I should be more, I think, accommodating to them and rather than always being accommodated. But here we are. Me
Well,
only
you were
knowing
learning French, weren't you, in Geneva? So we're trying.
I did take a class.
That counts. That counts as making an effort.
Yeah. But anyways, that's so funny. But yeah, no, I have no problem going to a country where I don't speak the language because I'm just like, it'll work out. Just this blind
Yeah.
confidence.
And it always has so far.
Yep,
So are you wrong?
so true. Okay, going back to Oxford. So 91 libraries. So I'm guessing then these are all over the city.
Yeah.
And then as a student at a different college, I'm assuming that you can go to any of the Oxford libraries because you're technically at Oxford. Is that true? Not true.
Okay, so basically, so within those 91 libraries, what you've got is you've got college libraries. So I work in a college library. That means it's like a relatively small library that serves this community in this college. You can't usually go to other people's college libraries unless you have a really good reason, like they have a book there that no other library has. Like the general rule is that that library, because it's quite small, it's only meant to serve that small group of students.
Oh, so there's just like a ton of duplicate books.
Oh my God, so many. So many. I work a lot with said duplicate books.
This is about to be so stupid, but when I watched Gilmore Girls, okay,
Okay.
and then she goes and she tours the Yale University Library, and they have all these, cool artifacts, first edition, whatever books, and that's obviously for an American school that's not that old. Are there artifact type of things found at Oxford? I can't imagine there wouldn't be.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
what
yes.
what
So,
are these
so
special things that it's like, oh my gosh, we got to go to an Oxford library to see what are you going to see?
like literally everything. I really don't know where to start. So the library I work in, bearing in mind this is one of the small college libraries, not so the ones that aren't college libraries are like centralized libraries that are part of what's called the Bodleian Libraries system. So those would be like your faculty libraries, so like English faculty, law faculty, etc. And just kind of big central libraries. And those are the ones that all of the students can go to.
Ah, okay.
Oh, also another thing you should know, the Bodleian Library, which is like the main central one, is what's called a legal deposit library, which means that they are allowed to have a copy of every book. So every time you publish a book in the UK, you have to, if they ask for it, give a free copy to a few libraries around the UK, which are called legal deposit libraries. And collectively, they have every book ever published in the UK.
Wow. Okay,
Which is
cool.
why the Bodleian libraries have over 13 million books.
How big are these libraries?
Well, this is a really cool thing. But basically, because there's not enough room, obviously, in Oxford to keep all of these books, there's this giant warehouse in Swindon. Swindon is like a few miles down the road. It took us like an hour, I think, when we drove there. And there's huge, ginormous, unfathomably large warehouse full of books. And it's very cool. They have these like immense, like super, super tall shelves, and then they have to go on like forklifts that go really, really, really high to pick the books off the shelves. It's incredible. It's such a cool place. It's really atmospheric. And I got to go visit that last week, and it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Keep going.
So then if you need books from there, you have to request them, and then they get taken up to Oxford for you on a lorry. So they have 2 lorries come per day from Swindon to Oxford to deliver books.
Okay, so is a lorry, really quick, is that a person or is that?
Oh no, a lorry is it's the English word for a truck,
Okay,
like a big
a lorry.
vehicle.
Okay, fun.
I know.
How many books are being requested per day?
Loads, like so many. And then as well as that, they also do a service where they can like take scans of a book. So if you only do like one chapter, they'll just like scan it and send it to you by email.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So they need a ton of employees then.
Yeah.
How many people work for the Oxford libraries?
Loads. Okay, another thing to bear in mind is that Oxford, on account of being really, really old, is also really, really unfathomably rich. So the employment thing, not an issue. They can afford it.
This is so freaking fascinating. Oh, wait, tell me about the artifacts, because you said you didn't even know where to start.
Okay, what have we got? So the library that I work in, we've got like loads of medieval manuscripts, proper written in quill by a monk and with gold illuminations and in Latin and on parchment and, vellum or whatever. Super priceless. Like sometimes I have to go and fetch them and I'm like, don't drop this, Jess. It's worth more than your salary.
Oh, okay, wait, who's reading these? Or are they just fun to look at?
It's usually like people who want to do research about something. They'll look at it and investigate stuff about it. Some people are just interested. They are quite interesting, to be fair. Some really cool stuff. But then there's also other stuff that's kind of historic. So for some reason, the library that I work at has all of Isaac Newton's papers. You know, the guy who worked out about gravity.
Oh.
Yeah, just have like a bunch of his papers. And I'm like, cool. Don't know why we've got these, but that's nice.
Sorry, I'm just having a moment where I'm realizing like this is gonna make me sound so stupid. But it's like, okay, yeah, I know who Isaac Newton is. You know what I mean? But like Isaac Newton was a living man on Earth, wrote some crap down, and like that's stored.
Yeah, and now that crap is worth so much.
Yeah, but
I feel you. Like I remember at some point when I was a bit younger, seeing a photo of Einstein and being like, wait, he was around when there were photos?
Yes, and like that's exactly what I'm having that moment right now with freaking Isaac Newton. Like, yeah, he was writing stuff down and we have it still.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It really is. And there's so much stuff like that where you're like, I cannot believe someone hung on to that for so long. And, and so like the Western Library, which is one of the other like kind of more central libraries, they've got loads of cool stuff. They've got an exhibition on at the moment, which is about like original drafts of like famous literary works. And you can like see where they've been edited because it's like the original manuscript and where they've like scribbled corrections on and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's amazing. And there's like so many first editions of things floating around.
So what are you usually getting? Are you usually helping students get things, tourists? Can anybody go into these libraries? Yeah, like who's coming in? Yeah.
So because I work in a college library, it's basically only students of this college that I work at who come in and they like need books and stuff like that. So mostly, you're kind of helping out with that sort of thing. Yeah, we don't get tourists because tourists aren't allowed into this particular library, but some of the more central libraries have a lot of tourists. And that's like a whole extra part of the job is that they have to have like trained tour guides around to help with that sort of thing. Because with the central libraries, the idea is meant to be that anyone with a legitimate research purpose can come and use the library. But then obviously you also have tourist tours who are like not there to use the library, but just want to look at the pretty libraries. And who can blame them? They're really pretty.
What got you into this? Why do you like being a librarian for Oxford? And after this year is done, are you wanting to work at one of the bigger libraries? I want to know.
So the reason I wanted to work here is because like Oxford has a really good training scheme. So it's not so much just about the job, it's about the fact that like, so every Wednesday afternoon, I like go off with all the other trainees and we have sessions about learning about cataloging or how to become a qualified information professional or like how to support disabled people in the library or things like that. And that's really cool. And that's kind of how I wanted to start my career, you know. And they're like really prestigious. I like not to be that person, but it looks really great on the CV.
Yeah.
Being like, I worked at Oxford, it's good. So yeah, and also the job that I do, most of the other trainees don't get to do this. I'm very lucky, but I get to work quite a lot with special collections. So I get to help put on exhibitions. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but sometimes when a researcher comes to look at a manuscript, I have to be the person who like sits in the room with them because people aren't allowed to just be on their own with really, really valuable materials. Obviously, a person has to sit and watch them and be like, please don't use a pen. You can only write in pencil. Most people don't need to be told that. Like most stuff, you're just like, yeah, obviously don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, things like being like, hey, can you make sure you put your book on the sofa or whatever? They're called book sofas. You can't like have a manuscript or a like fragile book on the table. You have to put it on like a little cushion to support it, or like a foam thing, so that it doesn't open flat to 180. Like you want it to stay only at kind of 90 degrees open so that you're not damaging the binding.
What a fun fact.
There you go. Something interesting. So yeah, it's just stuff like that, like helping people to not do anything that might accidentally damage the stuff that they're looking at. Yeah, so that was kind of what got me into this, was wanting to be able to do like a really big variety of things. Because basically when you're training, this is kind of weird, but it's really better for you to be in a small library than in a big library, because in a small library there's like a smaller team, so you get to do more different things. So like if you work in a really big library, there's a person for every task. And so you don't get to do a lot of tasks because it's like, oh, but that's so-and-so's job. Whereas in a college, it's like everyone takes on a little bit of everything. And so you get the chance to, like I say, do some work with manuscripts, do some work with book displays, do some work with processing new books, you know, all of the different things. And so I think it's better when you're learning to be in a library like that, which is why I wanted to do this job.
Oh, that is amazing. Do you think you're gonna continue working with Oxford after your training's up, or do you have another library you have your sights set on?
It's really difficult. I think I like can't afford to be super, super choosy because, you know, there's only so many jobs out there. So I wouldn't want to like limit myself or anything like that. I'm not sure if I want to stay in Oxford. Like, I always wanted to do my training in Oxford, but I also know that Oxford is a very flawed place. It's not perfect, and not everything about it as an institution aligns perfectly with my personal values. And so I'm conscious that I have to make a decision long term about whether I want to like make change from the inside or the outside. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, that was so well put. I think that is so often like the debate
Yeah.
in just like anything in life. Like, can I sit in this space and make a difference here and also maintain my mental health? It being frustrated at the changes that don't happen quickly, or do I need to do it from the outside?
This is one of the kind of main, well, is it a criticism of Oxford? So like almost all of our prime ministers for the last sort of 100 years or so have gone to Oxford, like virtually every single one.
That feels suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. And it's where you get into this dangerous sort of conversation about elitism and the fact that, like, you know, too many people who go to Oxford come from private schools. So I looked this up for the purpose of being able to tell you. 7% of people in the UK go to private school. 30% of people who get into Oxford go to private school.
This is a very like special brand of people that are going to this school.
Exactly. And then what's really interesting is people who had that kind of career trajectory are then, I think, 52 times more likely to get into a position of power in society.
Oh my gosh.
So these are people who are more likely to be running the media, people who are more likely to be running the country, people who are more likely to be judges or lawyers or, you know, important things that make change happen. And this is where it's a bit problematic, is that it's quite elitist. And then you have like a lot of very privileged people in one place who are then going to go on to be able to run the country. And some people think that's not great.
Wow, yeah.
But this is the thing, is, you know, like everyone's kind of mates from uni and then they help each other out. Nepotism.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
it's really problematic, and that's kind of what makes it difficult for me at Oxford, because I don't have that background. I went to a state school. I went to a less prestigious university, and then I come
Yeah.
here and it's like a very different culture than what I'm used to. And like people are very resistant to change. People like the
Mm.
way things are, and we do this way because this is how we do it, which is not what I'm used to at all, because my university was very like pro change and proactive about, if things weren't right, modifying them to make things better. And it's
Yeah,
very difficult to make that happen here.
I could totally see that. Oh, well, I'm so fascinated to see where you end up going. If you stay at
Yeah,
Oxford, if you make the change from the inside, or if you say, you know what, this is better if I step out.
exactly. Yeah.
I totally get that. I think this is such a random like side point, but I think a lot of people, at least in my world, because the world that I live in is like very religious, right?
Hmm.
That's kind of like the argument people have in my world is like, am I going to make this change from the inside or do I
Yes.
need to step out?
Mm,
And I think that's why I have like a lot of respect for both. Like
yes.
I can see both sides of that. And for me, from my religion, that's really the only one I can speak to, is I find like a lot of joy in a lot of things. And so I'm like, yeah, no, this is not putting my mental health at risk to like make that change from the inside. But for anybody that it's like, it's too much, I'm like, yeah, no, I can see that. You kind
I
of have to
agree with you.
decide.
And I think the crucial thing is we need both people. We need
Yeah.
people in there making change from the inside. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with like a bucket of people who are left behind when you're making change from the outside. But then we also need people making change from the outside, because we can't have everything going on in one group. So I feel
Absolutely.
like, yeah, you're so right.
We need the people on the inside, the people on the outside, working together collectively to make change, whether it be at Oxford, whether it be wherever it is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you for teaching us all about Oxford.
Anytime.
That was so enjoyable for me. Let us now move on to our last segment, which is the hills we will die on. Jess, what do you have for us?
So, okay, my like number one thing, this I feel so strongly about, is anything, literally anything that claims to be, and I quote, based on a true story. Like, make your mind up. Is it true or is it a story? Choose one. I'm not okay with this. This whole thing where it's like, oh, maybe it happened. Maybe I made this up. No, one or the other. Is it a documentary or is it a fictional film? You know, it drives me insane.
That one is so good. Because you're right. Like, how do you know which details are true and which ones aren't? And like, they take this one thing and then they spin it. You're so
It's
right.
crazy to me. I'm like, I like whenever I see based on a true story at the start of a film, I'm like, why don't we just change that? Why don't you just write, here are some lies I came up about a person? Like,
Yes. Is there any films in particular that like really drive you crazy on
oh,
this
I'm
basis?
so glad you asked. The obvious answer to this is The Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman.
It boggles my mind that that film got made. I'm like, who signed up on this? Like, did none of you just check Wikipedia before you did this? None of you go like, hey, was this guy kind of okay or no?
Why did I know you were gonna say Greatest Showman? Because
I probably mentioned it before because it's like my pet thing to be so angry about all the time. Like, I think about this film too much for someone who's seen it like maybe once.
so I'm guessing you didn't enjoy it.
I thought it was an all right film, but I think
Okay.
it's just problematic that it exists in the first place. Like, P.T. Barnum was a slave owner. He was so bad. Like, don't make a film about what a great guy he was. Like, he was really exploitative, and then everyone's like, let's just like make a film and be like, what a fun guy. Showbiz. I'm like, what? People died. I mean, maybe that's just an accurate reflection of the showbiz as it is today, but even
Yeah.
so.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, what's your next one? These ones, I have a feeling these are going to be some of my favorite because we're already off to a really strong start.
Okay, so this one, I think I will get fired from my work if anyone hears that I said this, but Shakespeare, so overrated. Really massively overrated. I just feel like we're giving this man too much time.
I completely agree. Wow.
Oh man.
On such a big, profound level.
Yes.
But there are other people out here. Like there are other writers, there's other works, and I felt like when we were doing our whole Shakespeare units and things, I felt like we were stretching so freaking far. I felt like Elastigirl. Like, to say that he really meant this and this profound thing. Romeo and Juliet, the most overrated piece of crap
Thank you.
ever.
I hate it so much. I'm like, why did you not wait for her to wake up? Like, sort yourself out.
Well, and all of the remakes of it and stuff, like the only Shakespeare thing I support is She's the Man, the adaptation.
That film is so good. I love that film so much.
Yeah, like if we were doing what She's the Man did for all of Shakespeare's stuff, I'd be on board. Or you know what? Rosalind, if you've ever seen that.
We watched that together, I think. Did
Yes.
we?
Yes.
That was so good. I loved it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, Shakespeare, come on in. You're welcome. But
just do something creative with it. Yeah, because also it's been done a million times. Like there's nothing original to be said about Shakespeare. And that's why everyone starts coming up with the most whack conspiracies about him, because they have to like invent something new and edgy to say about it.
And really, was it that good? I don't think so. Like, I think we just
okay.
It's almost like we have to like choose someone to be like prestigious to look to in academia.
So true. Mm-hmm.
Why can't we just admit like, okay, here's some stuff some people liked back then, but like there's some better things that have come out or more relevant or whatever. Like, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm so with you.
I'm so with you. I feel like it's good. It was important. I can't deny he was really influential, and we should study like at least one of his things, along the way. I don't think he needs to be like a genre in himself. My second thought about Shakespeare is I'm so certain that at least 60% of people who say they like Shakespeare really like being able to say that they like Shakespeare. Like, if you ever go and see like a Shakespeare play, I'm genuinely sure that at least half of the people are like just laughing because they've taken the cue and they know that now is the moment you're supposed to laugh. Because no one is getting all of the stuff just off the bat. Like, the language isn't that accessible. I'm sensing some pretentiousness here.
Also, as a feminist, it kind of does piss me off that we have just like memorialized so many men in all of these different places. Like, I'm sorry, was there not a woman that we can equally talk about? It's just always,
oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, I find it hard to believe that there wasn't another script out there that was like hilarious and amazing, but like never got published, never was made into a play because it was a woman. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
On a personal level, like what interests me, where I'm like, why are we just always sticking with the same old, when we're forgetting that like women were around at that time as well? Can we not look into their stuff?
It's so true. And likewise, like, we read so much old white person stuff. It's like, again, I'm pretty sure that there was cool literature going on elsewhere in the world and also here, but not by white people. So maybe we could like diversify a little bit.
Maybe that's one of those changes someone from the inside is gonna have to make. Okay,
I'm just going to work tomorrow and be like, hey, I'm burning all the Shakespeare. Say goodbye to these 2 whole bookcases. I heard we didn't have enough space in the library. I've freed up some space. Just some stuff no one's looking at. No one will notice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what else you got for me?
Okay, this is going to be a really abrupt turn, but dolphins. Absolutely detest dolphins. They're such a problem in the world. Why are they getting so much love? They're awful.
I was actually having a discussion with someone not like 3 days ago about dolphins, about how horrible they are. They like rape people.
They do. They kill for pleasure. They're awful. I cannot stand like how much good publicity dolphins are getting. It makes me so angry.
Hold on. I need to write that down because I think that might be the title of the episode. I can't understand how dolphins are getting such good publicity. Honestly, if I was some sort of public relations person,
yeah, PR.
If I was a PR person, I would take a study of dolphins. I would teach my class about like, you see dolphins? This is how horrible they are. Here's the image.
Literally, how have they pulled this off? Who have they got?
Yeah, who's the Dolphins PR person? I was just having this conversation because I was talking about one of my dreams is to swim with sharks. I really would love that.
Oh my God. Yes, because this is also my other point about dolphins is that they're getting all of the good PR that sharks should be getting because sharks are great.
Poor sharks, man. They got the teeth And it's just really giving them a bad image.
I read a statistic about the effect that the movie Jaws had on shark killings, and it was so upsetting. I was like, wow, Spielberg has got some stuff to answer for.
Poor sharks, they need to hire a new PR person.
They need to poach the Dolphins PR person, yeah. How do we make this happen? We need to call someone.
Oh my gosh, what else you got?
These are my less strong ones, but room temperature water is so good. And I get so much hate for drinking water that's like lukewarm. Everyone tells me I'm disgusting, and I think it's actually really good. I think cold water is disgusting. I think I don't want to feel that disgusting feeling of water like slithering down inside of me. I want delicious, perfect, room temperature, hard water. And I get so much hate for my love of A, hard water, and B, room temperature water. And I just need to let it out. It's really good. Everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, honestly, you know where you would thrive? In
Mhm.
Asia, because they heat up their water.
Do they?
I always had to ask for it cold in China. Now, granted, it was not lukewarm. It was not room temperature. It was heated. It was like warmed up.
That's also good. I love a hot drink.
Okay, yeah. You know what? You'd thrive.
Amazing.
So you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There are countries.
Also, I have read this, and it's better for you. It's not good for you because it cools down your something. Room temp water. That's the answer.
Okay, great one.
My final one is I'm absolutely convinced that nobody likes turkey. That's turkey, the meat, not turkey, the country. I have no beef with turkey, the country. No one likes it. There's a reason why in this country, we only eat it at Christmas, and it's because it's bad. Turkey, genuinely, very significant contributor to me going vegetarian. I was like, what's a way I could never have to eat turkey again? And then I gave up all meat because turkey is vile. It's just chicken, but less good. It's so bad. No one likes it. Everyone is pretending. Like, literally everybody is pretending. And I believe that. I've called you all out.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm with you halfway.
Okay.
I don't love a turkey because we have it at Thanksgiving here.
Yes, I was going to say you have it at Thanksgiving instead of Christmas.
Ours is a Christmas ham. So that's ham time. But turkey is Thanksgiving, and yeah, you know what? I can always go without. Not a problem. I will say though, the manufactured, they're not even real. I don't even know how these exist, but the turkey legs at Disneyland specifically, or
this is so specific.
Yeah, like very, very American. The turkey legs that you can find at like a Texas State Fair or something like that, they're not like, I can't believe that this is a real animal. But I mean, they're freaking enormous. Like, I don't know what they've pumped into these turkeys. Maybe that's why I like it, because I don't think it's actually turkey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like so many things have happened to it since it was a turkey that now it's become palatable. Yeah, I completely understand.
So you know what? I will, because I'm going to go with turkey legs aren't actually turkey. I agree. Turkey can go.
Amazing. This is great. Finally, I've got another person on board.
Yeah, no, I'll hike up for you. We'll defend it together.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, I will end us with a hill I will die on. Okay, this one, simple, but remember, I will die here. Toilet paper.
Yeah.
It needs to be over. I need to be ripping it from the top. If the roll is put on and the side that you're grabbing from is like underneath.
Oh, so you're saying the loose end needs to be away from the wall, not touching the wall?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely correct. Yes.
It like makes me emotional, like how upset. Yeah. It makes me.
Do you know what though? You are correct, and I know this because I saw a picture of the patent from the first ever toilet roll holder, and it shows the toilet roll on the correct way around.
Oh my gosh, there's people out here with it under, and
I change it if I see it, and I will change it.
I do too.
Like even from someone else's house, I will change it, and I feel really bad because I feel I shouldn't do that, but also
they're doing it wrong, like blatantly wrong. Sticking with the toilet paper for one more second. If it is empty, if you're about to use the last of that roll and you do not switch it out, I don't care if you're in a home, I don't care. Like, if I'm at a restaurant or something, okay, and I go in and there's the toilet paper, there's clearly not a replacement roll in there, right? I'm gonna go tell an employee.
Yeah.
How dare you just take the last of a roll and then leave it for somebody else to have a problem,
Yeah.
especially if you are someone that has a period. Are you kidding me? You're gonna leave that roll
That's
empty?
catastrophic. Yeah.
You're gonna leave someone behind like that? Like, we talk about like leave no man
Awful.
behind, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're really gonna do that? You're gonna treat another
No.
human that way? I
No.
think it says something about like who people are on the inside. And
Yeah.
I really will die on that hill. Like, I don't think that you're an actually good person if if you're leaving the toilet paper roll empty. I think it deserves maybe like 24 hours in jail. Like, I think it could deserve some jail time.
Just a short one.
Yeah, just a little stint, learn your lesson, be a better person.
Absolutely.
So everybody knows, public service announcement. If you come into my home and use the last of my toilet paper and don't refill it, I will judge you for that hard. And if we are close friends, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm gonna say something.
Some people just need to be told.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're doing people a service.
So you get one chance, and if you do it twice, we're done.
God forbid.
Yeah. Don't mess with my toilet paper needs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I think we will end. This was so lovely. Thank you.
This is so great. I enjoyed this so much.
Thank you so much for coming on, for being willing to deal with the time difference. I'm so excited to have everybody listen to this, learn about Oxford, watch Heartstopper, and most importantly, get the word out about dolphins.
Yeah, so essential. I think, if we keep this up, it can make some real change.
Yes, we'll start one sea creature at a time, and maybe we can like make it up to the humans, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to our thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki. Okay, it slightly killed me. Like, my instinct was to try and do it in your voice, which is not good. But I resisted and did it in my voice. So I hope you're happy.
Wait, can I get a version of you doing it in my voice? And can I add both of those? Because that would be hilarious.
Thank you for listening to our thoughts on life. This has been Life According to Nikki. Ah! No! I stumbled at the end. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. Okay, we're going to do another attempt. Thank you for listening to our thoughts on life. This has been Life According to Nikki.